On February 12th, 2021, we're going to get the release of Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings. We're going to be discussing that here on this Marvel MCU Phase 4 discussion video. This was announced way back in July, I think it was, during San Diego Comic-Con. And it was an interesting choice because we had heard rumors about Shang-Chi for a very, very long time. Now he's finally going to get his own movie. Shang-Chi, and we'll talk about this in more detail, has never really been an A-list character. In fact, he's probably a C-lister when it comes to the Marvel comic era. But they're taking a gamble with this movie, and they're going to try and see if they can get this character over enough to become his own his own film franchise in the MCU. We'll see what happens, but joining me to discuss Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings and the character overall, please welcome back Hayden, brother. What's up?
Not much. I am pretty excited for this one. Yeah, I think it's going to be good.
Okay, well, I didn't know that you were really excited for it because Shang-Chi is not really a big character, but the thing that's got my appetite wet is the fact that we're finally going to get the real Mandarin. That was to me, the real Mandarin is actually a bigger deal than Shang-Chi getting his own movie. Because for those of you who don't remember, Iron Man 3 teased the Mandarin. They actually teased it all the way in Iron Man 1, but then we got this sort of phony Mandarin, and they kind of revealed the real Mandarin was, Guy Pearce or whatever. But that being said, here we're going to have the actual Mandarin. And it sucks that the Mandarin won't be able to face off against his arch rival Iron Man like we wanted. But seeing him is still going to be a cool thing. And it was teased before. The real Mandarin's been teased for a long time. And I think that's kind of the big announcement or the big, I think it's the big, selling point for this movie.
Yeah. I think he's being used as the hook to grab a lot of people in who wouldn't otherwise care as much. So yeah, I'm personally excited that they're doing the kung fu thing right because Iron Fist was such a screw up.
I was going to say, this reminds me of Iron Fist. Now, I will say this. We recently also found out that Tony Stark, a.k.a. Robert Downey Jr., he'll be playing Iron Man in the upcoming Black Widow movie. Now, we already covered Black Widow, but I'm genuinely wondering if this movie takes place prior to the death of Iron Man. Maybe it takes place in between one of the other movies in a different phase. Could it be possible that we do get the Iron Man Mandarin battle here, but it becomes something that Tony just doesn't talk about? I mean, it seems a little bit unrealistic and a bit shoehorned and a bit of fan service, but I just find this idea of the Mandarin not being there with Tony not really. There's something missing, if you ask me. I'm happy, but it's kind of bittersweet.
I think it would be great, and they wouldn't even necessarily need Robert Downey Jr. if they didn't want to give him another huge paycheck for a little cameo. But whether told in flashback or whether it's set before the death of Tony Stark,
right?
You could have just a CG Iron Man suit battle that's shown.
Well, he's got to do the voice. He's got to do the voiceover because Iron Man has to talk trash.
Yeah, he would. He would. But I would love to see that, and it would be fitting because the Mandarin without Iron Man is just definitely feels out of place.
What are your thoughts on the Shang-Chi character? Because, like I said earlier, he's not an A-list character at all. He is one that I've never read a Shang-Chi comic in my entire life, just being 100% real with you on that. I'm not saying that I don't like the character. I just don't know much about him.
No, I like him. Yeah, and I've never read one of his comics, like any series that he had to himself.
And by the way, he's being played by a guy named Simu Liu, so I believe this movie's gonna have an authentic Chinese cast.
Yeah, and it's funny how this has the link to Iron Man because Iron Man 3 had those special Chinese scenes to kind of pander to the international audience or to the Chinese market.
That Chinese money, brother.
They did, and I think it kind of went lukewarm on the Chinese audience. They're kind of like, we don't feel like these scenes are at all necessary to the plot, so we can tell.
Well, I've noticed something about China is that they're not idiots. They're pretty smart people over there.
Exactly.
And like, for example, in Last Jedi, they thought by putting Rose Tico in there, who's an Asian character, there was thought behind that it was going to appeal to them because apparently they really marketed her over there. And it just completely flopped because no matter what, she's a bland character. She's not a great character. It just didn't work out for her in China. And again, it's one of those things where even if you make a movie with all Chinese, it might not appeal to the Chinese. But I do like the authenticity of keeping it close to the comic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think it'd be good. It's a good idea in general to keep this as if you're doing whether you're trying to appeal to the Chinese market or not. You're handling a Chinese character with Chinese cast, like, it's going to be primarily a international cast list, or at least Asian American. So that's good. And they had that controversy with Iron Fist, and Iron Fist is, it is the SJW Marvel era that we live in, like that. And Iron Fist is a beloved character. So the outcry for that show, I didn't think was warranted. I think people were missing the point there. But the show itself sucked. So they messed up the kung fu thing, and they want to have variety. You can tell they're trying to do as much different genres as possible now. So they're trying to get him over, and I think they could do a good job. So to answer your initial question about the comics, he appeared in a very awesome Spider-Man story published a couple years ago called Spider Island, where everybody in New York City got spider powers.
Well, we ain't getting that here.
No, we're not getting that anymore. But Shang-Chi does teach Spider-Man kung fu and assist him in that arc quite a bit, and then later on goes to join the Avengers in the Avengers run that I reference almost every single time we record one of these, which is Jonathan Hickman's recently concluded Avengers run, which wrapped with Secret Wars. It started with Infinity, and that was his first event.
Hickman is awesome. I mean,
Hickman is awesome, and his ideas are showing up a lot in the MCU. They already have. Like, Infinity War was so heavily based on Infinity.
Yeah, having the children of Thanos is totally from Infinity. That wasn't even the original story.
Yeah, it was. And now they've got their own video game, the Ultimate Alliance 3. So
yeah, and the Avengers game coming out probably has some influence too. Do you think that it's going to work though? Because with Guardians of the Galaxy, for example, when they first made that into a film in 2014, what I think helped that movie out was two things. Number one, the trailer was totally fantastic, and number two, the movie itself was really, really good. And people, you have to understand, prior to 2014, the Guardians of the Galaxy were not an A-list title at all. And because of that movie and how good the first two Guardians movies are and their cameos in other movies, they're super popular now.
Now they've got their own ride at Disney World.
Not just that, but they're A-listers now. So will it work with Shang-Chi? Because I feel like, I'll be real with you, at some point, one of these MCU movies is going to flop. And when I say flop, I don't mean not make money, but be
a bad
exactly, like Batman v Superman style.
Be a bad movie.
It's gonna happen at some point, man. The law of averages will tell you that. Maybe not any of these movies you're talking about, but maybe Phase 5. They're gonna screw up at some point. So they're gonna get the wrong director.
Phase 4 has a lot of wild cards. It could go either way.
Including this one.
This is definitely one of them.
So, do you see this working? I mean, what do you think the movie has to do to work? Because I think the kung fu stuff. I think the main thing is, to me, is a good origin story, different than the Doctor Strange one and other characters, and also a lot of badass martial arts. If they have really amazing choreography, I'm talking about Jet Li circa early 90s, late 80s stuff where we're seeing some really badass stuff that we've never seen in the MCU before. I'm talking about Matrix or even Matrix Reloaded, which the sequel's not as good as the original, but it has great choreography. If we see something like that in this movie, maybe with a little bit of bullet time and things like that, I think it could work, man. I think it could work if they do that.
No, I would love that. I'm a huge fan of martial arts films, and I think if they wanted to do justice to that genre and make this prove that they can make their movies any genre that they want, since that's what they're trying to do with these new types of movies that they're introducing here. They've got to go hard with the kung fu, and they've got to really prove that this is a kung fu movie first, and then a MCU tie-in second. It's not just there to have an Asian representation, meet a quota. It's there to fill a much needed hole in the market with kung fu movies.
It's doing something different. We haven't really seen it. We have not seen a straight up kung fu movie in the MCU yet. Also, I should mention Awkwafina, who was in Crazy Rich Asians and Ocean's 8, will be in this movie as well. Unsure who she's gonna play, but again, authentic Chinese.
She's very popular, and she's gonna bring a lot of, I think, eyes to this movie because people recognize her from Crazy Rich Asians, which was so huge.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
They haven't even started filming this thing yet. It's not going to start until early 2020 when they're going to start filming this movie. So, again, very preliminary talks here. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think about Shang-Chi, what your expectations are, and what you want to see. Also, Hayden, bro, we got to plug your social media, dude. Go for it.
At SSJ5 Tablos on Twitter, just like the guy from Dragon Ball AF.
Yep.
Super Saiyan 5 Tablos.
Yes.
Yeah, and I do a lot of art, comic art, manga, tweeting about nerd stuff. Anyway, yeah.
Good times, good times. Alrighty, well, thank you for being here, and thanks everybody for listening. Check out the comment section down below and what you think about Shang-Chi. I'm very curious to hear what people have to say about it because, like I said, I'm not a Shang-Chi fan. Didn't grow up with it, but I could become one if this movie's good.
Is the Mandarin going to be his father?
That's
Because his father's Fu Manchu.
Oh man.
His father is Fu Manchu, and I think that it's just too easy to not. It's too. They have to just erase that character from history and make the Mandarin the father. Because
fuse
the
them
relationship
together,
is
you
still
mean?
there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll find out. We'll talk to you soon.